Hello everyone, welcome back to my live review of Werewolf the Apocalypse Heart of the Forest. This has been a super emotional and intense game, and I have loved every single second of it. They actually just won Best Game Design at I think it's the DevPlay conference. So award-winning Heart of the Forest. But we are going to get started here in a second. Before I start, I want to just highlight that Werewolf the Apocalypse, and especially Heart of the Forest, talks about a lot of very real world issues, and especially issues happening in the Białowieża. And they very much highlight the importance, and for the local Americans who want to help wolf population here, I recommend checking out the World Wildlife Federation. They have a way that you can adopt an animal and you actually get a cute plushie out of it, and they have a variety of wolves on there. So yeah, protect wolves. They really need it. So let's get started. Oh yeah, that's right. We left off at chapter 5. We've had our first change. We've committed murder. We've been introduced to a few of the tribes. So I think now we just see where we go from here. Which I'm nervous about. Loose ends. I woke up in my bed in the B&B and for a moment thought the whole werewolf business had been a dream. Then I heard a giggle, looked up, and saw Anya looking at me with a grin. "Girl, you sure know how to party. You were gone for 2 days." She shook her head. "Was Bartek with you? He's not returning my calls." Bartek's who we killed. Whew. Well, funny story. There was so much to talk about. I didn't know where to start. "I'm alright. Sorry for disappearing so suddenly," I said, but what else could I say? I feel like we need to lie to her. Like, I love you, Anya. I'm gonna lie. After the protest, I ended up at a party. I lied and then sort of lost track of time. I drank way too much, but it was fun. How should I handle the Bartek thing? I couldn't tell her he was dead, that I'd killed him. "I don't really know where Bartek is right now," I said, my voice trembling a bit. Anya looked at me like she sensed something was wrong. I can't yell at her! My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. This is gonna be a sad playthrough. "I'm sorry," I said, fighting back tears. "How are you feeling?" "I'm worried." Anya started sobbing. "I really like him, and he ghosted me. Fuck. Fuck. Comfort. "He'll be alright." I hugged her. "Let's just wait and see what happens. Give it time." She nodded and tried to smile, and I felt a part of me changing forever. I wanted to tell her everything. I packed my bag in silence. I felt a rift growing between me and Anya, and I felt a sudden urge to tell her everything. I don't know if it's just because I'm a private person that I wouldn't share this with a single fucking soul. I love my friends, but I would lie like hell to them. I told her something she could understand. Oh, I gained some honor at least. I couldn't tell her the truth. I was a Garu and had a sacred duty to protect the veil hiding us from mortal eyes, but I could tell her something. "I learned something important about myself," I said, "and I have to follow it for a while. Sorry for the sudden change of plan." I sighed and continued packing. So are you leaving? Asked Anya. What about your family history? I shrugged. Whatever the answer was, it was now Maya the werewolf's problem. Maya the student was dead. I'll be in touch. Anya hugged me. You'll figure it out. I sighed, took my bag, and left. Ooh, where do we go? Okay, I dropped my bags in the camp and ran through the plan one more time. They expected me to act like a Philodox, but we'd also discussed other plans, but more sophisticated. And just as a reminder, Philodox, those born under the half moon, embrace balance between wolf and human, fury and wisdom, and act as judges and law keepers. So, do we go the route of Philodox? Philodox, justice, retribution. Do we go Galliard, stories, propaganda? Theurge, spirits, and rituals. Yeah, I think I still have a choice. Like, they've recommended Philodox for me, or they expect me to be a Philodox, but I still can kind of choose who I want to be. I feel like I do need to take the Philodox route. Like, that's in line with what I want. Of, like, making sure everything, is in balance, because this isn't the 80s anymore. Oh, wait. Hey! I can hover over it. Galliard. Those born under the gibbous moon are storytellers and lore keepers, calling others to battle and inspiring them to greatness. That doesn't sound like me. Theurge. Those born under the crescent moon are mystics and seers, dealing with spirits and interpreting visions and omens. Nah, yeah, I'm Philodox, I guess. With Olga's pack's local connections and Cornell's pack's technological wizardry, we followed the money and found out who was paying the loggers and security guards. Behind all the ideology and politics, it was all just business. We had to stop the money flowing. They were cutting down trees because someone was paying them to do it. We decided to stop the money flowing. Finally, we were ready. After a few days of stakeouts and preparations, we identified our target and were ready to move. We started with a kidnapping! We started with a kidnapping. My god. I guess so. I guess we'll just go there. What is happening on the screen? What is happening on the screen? What is happening on the screen? Okay, sorry. Made me nervous. We let him out in the middle of the forest. I'm gonna take the lead or let Cornell? Cornell knows way more about this than me, so I'm gonna kind of default to him on this one. Cornell yanked the bag off the man's face. I lifted a flashlight and shined it in his eyes so he couldn't see us. The man reeked of fear and sweat. Oh no. I knew him, and it was gonna be a problem. Because the man behind the local logging industry was Bartek's father. No! Do I take the rage of I killed his son? Or do I take that doesn't matter? Like, lose the willpower to be like, doesn't matter, I killed your son, gotta do what I gotta do. We're starting with hard decisions today. Oh, let me drink some coffee. Or, I mean, you know, Frappuccino, same difference. I'm afraid for my rage to get up right now, but I keep remembering the chat yelling at me to not think like a kindred and think like a werewolf. Yeah, and I killed his son. He didn't know that, and the body would never be found, but did it matter? The man whimpered and shielded his eyes. It was time to deliver my message. Should I be blunt? Just explain it? Toy with him. I'm not that kind of person. I don't know if I should be quite so blunt. Here's the deal. You stop the logging. I explained as clearly as I could. And in return, you and your family can enjoy a safe future. One without strange accidents, fires, and misfortunes. He almost shat his pants. I could smell it. But he decided to play the tough guy. Fuck off, you bitch, he yelled. I'm gonna make your life a fucking misery. Just you wait. I know the chief of police. I know MPs. You won't get away with this. Who do you think you are? Oh, I'll show you who I am, I said quietly and felt Cornell tense by my side, but he said nothing. Just watched. I feel like now's not a good time. Now's really not the time. Emily, this is in Poland, so I imagine they have MPs similar to like how Canada does. Let's take a deep breath. Let's not become a wolf just yet. Cornell's already like, can you fucking keep it together? I took a deep breath and focused. Oh, I still change anyway. Oh. Oh. See, I don't think I need to go Krynos because I will straight kill this man. Yeah, I think if I had just changed without thinking, I would have gone into Krynos form, without focusing. But now I feel like I should choose Hispo because it's a wolf, but it's still monstrous, so I can like scare the shit out of him still. If I choose Lupus, like, I'm just gonna look like a baby wolf, and I'll just be like, hey, please stop. Glabro is terrifying as well, but you're still, like, mostly humanoid. I feel like Hispo, like, he's not gonna be able to comprehend what just happened to him anyway. Hispo himbo, alright. Yo! My spine cracked and twisted, my knees and ankles broke, and I fell on the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My skin was rippling and sprouting fur. I howled. When I rose, I was more than a wolf, a scary monstrous with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. I bared my teeth. I bared my teeth at him and growled, and then lunged. He got to his feet and started to run, stumbling in the dark. Let's get this bread. Or wait, I'm a wolf. Let's get this Scooby snack. I was after him, enjoying the blood pumping in my veins, the sheer volume of my body, my 4 paws on the ground. He screamed at the top of his lungs and collapsed, and I was on top of him. My fangs inches from his throat, he cried out, and then he went limp. I think he looks like he's ready to talk. Maybe homeboy got it now. I decided that he was ready to talk. My body reset itself to the familiar shape. Bones broke and fused again. Muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then I was human again, with keen eyes, nimble fingers, and a silver tongue. A wolf in sheep's clothing. I changed back and waited until he came to. The problem was that the man was used to people obeying him. I'm too low on willpower, and I kind of want to be a bitch to this asshole, so I couldn't stand it. And the talk escalated. I'm not saying that word. Fucking tree huggers, pathetic leeches, all you do is cry. Yeah, no. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I was just waiting for an excuse. He said that word. That means he's gotta fucking die. He's gotta die. Yeah, I appreciate the accuracy. We're killing him now. Pain hits me like a wrecking ball. Every bone in my body breaks and moves and resets, and I roar in agony. Panting and growling, I rise and rise and rise. I'm an 8-foot-tall killing machine. I felt rage washing over me like a wave of heat. I expand in every direction. I yell at the top of my lungs. Cornell screams something, but I can't hear him over the blood thumping in my ears. I hit the man. Cornell's probably like, chill the fuck out. I am the rage of the forest. The man reeks of the worm, and I hit him with all the forest fury, and again, and again. Cornell screams something at me. Cornell wants me to stop. I want to kill this man. But killing him isn't going to stop anything. We have to get him to stop it. He's got to be the one to stop it, because he's the one who runs the company. We're gonna... This might go real bad. But let's try. Hey, it was just friendly. I lost a little bit of honor, and I'm impaired. Fun. I was Hamid, with keen eyes, nimble fingers, and a silver tongue, a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's you. He looked me in the eyes. What have you done with Bartek? He spat blood and stopped moving. And then he was only a maimed, broken, bloody sack of bones. Without him, the local logging business would come to a grinding halt, for a while at least. Oh, so... oh no! Oh no! I could have just kept killing him, and then I wouldn't have lost the willpower. Oh no! Now I've lost the willpower and he's still dead! I never looked back. That went quick. I left him in the middle of the forest and never looked back. I mean, it's not like they're gonna find my fingerprints on him. I couldn't wait for the Sept meeting that morning. Pushing the local lobbyist was my rite of passage, and I knew that I did great. I was unstoppable. We met soon after sunrise. That's how you know I'm kindred, is like, I had a pause for a second at reading the word sunrise. We met soon after the sunrise on the same clearing where I woke up for the first time as a Garu. Lisa looked at us all and smiled. Our patrons were looking at her expectantly. So she stepped towards the center of the clearing. I am the Thurge of this Sept. I am here to make sure we do things the right way. Sorry, I have hiccups from my coffee. Alright. I held my breath. She turned to me and I held my breath. Maya, come forth. Are you a cub who seeks recognition as an adult? Yes. Yes, ma'am. I am, I answered solemnly. Are you an applicant to a tribe? Lisa asked again. Yep. Please let me choose. Who speaks for the cub? Lisa looked at her septmates. I do. Cornell stepped forward. I'm blind prophet of the children of Gaia, Philodox of the Winter Weasel Pack. I observed the cub on her mission, and I'm here to tell her story. Secret name's cool. Let's be honest. This is my response. But I am curious, like, do I have to take a new name? I guess they all had secret werewolf names. It made sense. A new life demanded a new name. Would I also have to take a new name? Has the cub passed her challenge? Asked Lisa. He was screaming at me, so let's let Cornell answer that for me. I knew how it all happened, but I held my breath nonetheless. Oh, thank you, Cordell. Thank you. She succeeded, was the answer. The challenge was hard and she overcame it. Lisa turned to me. Have you chosen your name? Lisa turned to me. My new secret name. Suddenly I remembered my grandfather talking about his old friends. He never used their real names. They were always Thunder, or Gray, or Needle. I'd always thought it was a gorilla thing, some kind of war names. Now I wasn't so sure anymore. How to capture my whole life, my aspirations, my personality, my heritage into one name. I cleared my throat. I can pick my name! Oh my gosh! Okay, so Mist, a name with more than one meaning. Skala, which was Polish for rock. Pine, a tree in the forest. Or Falca, which was the Latin for a female falcon. I feel like with ATL by Night Love, I have to choose the falcon one. I have to. Alright, let's go with Falca. My new name is Falca, a bird of prey, I answered. As for the tribe... Choosing the tribe was another matter. Glasswalker! I was afraid it wasn't going to be on the list. Glasswalker! After getting to know all of them better, I decided to become a Glasswalker. Pat agreed to mentor me. Only one thing remained at the end of the ceremony and make me a full-fledged Garu. I had to join a pack. I had already sworn to the Wolf Mother. Oh, Winter Weasel doesn't like me as much. Oh, but I wanted to be with the weasel. As my fate had already been tied with the Wolf Mother, I chose her as my patron and joined Olga's pack. So it was done. According to ancient rites, Lisa painted the mystical glyph of my tribe on my sternum. It disappeared for a moment, but whenever I closed my eyes, I could feel its warm touch between my breasts. Falca of the Glasswalkers, Philodox of the Morning Wolf Mother pack, welcome to our sept, she said solemnly. And then she howled. Yes! Howls rose towards the sky. They sang about ancient laws of war, status, and secrecy. I remembered only a few. Combat the worm wherever it dwells and wherever it breeds. Submit to those of higher station. Respect those beneath you. The veil shall not be lifted. I'm gonna sing along too. Rank Cleath. Goal identity. Make your own legend. Back to healthy, thank God. And gain some more honor. I threw my head back and howled with my sept. I was a cub no more. I was ready to tell my own stories, to earn my own place in the pack, to howl my own songs. Ah! Oh my gosh. Ah! Yay! I got to be a Glasswalker. I'm excited. Something's gonna go horribly wrong. I'm enjoying this way too much. Something has to go horribly wrong. Alright. Start the chapter. It was one of those blistering summer days when the asphalt melts, the grass withers, and the air smothers those brave enough to step outside. Despite the heat, it felt like the whole village was at the funeral. I felt cornered. I stood there, surrounded by sweaty bodies, looking at the rosaries they clutched in their fist. There was nowhere to run. For a brief, chilling moment, I thought I saw Bartek's face among the crowd, but no. I buried him in the barrows myself. Nobody there even knew he was dead. It was somebody else's funeral. Bartek was not the reason we gathered in the churchyard. A local counselor had been found dead in the forest a few days after his son disappeared. Real quick, let's check the character sheet. So we have our new name, Maya Falca Borodich. Philodox, judge. Oh, there we go. Rank. Cleath. A young Garu, not yet of any significant rank. So it's kind of like, Childer. Or Neonate. A babby. Tribe Glasswalkers. Pack Morning Wolf Mother. I'm back to healthy. Okay, so goal. Got that one. Find those responsible for. Or find those responsible and punish them to stop the logging. Already did that. Goal, earn glory, honor, and wisdom, and make your own legend. Pursue to regain. Okay. Sorry, Winter Weasel. I wanted to be with you. Anya's now friendly. Bartek's dead. Daniel's cautious. Cornell is now neutral? What the fuck did I do to you? Okay, I'm Push just friendly with me. Alright. There'd been more deaths. There'd been more deaths over the last days, but they slipped under the radar. We'd been careful in covering our tracks. Or nobody had connected the dots yet. Did they die because they deserved it? Or did they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, in the company of someone who couldn't hold their temper? Was that justice, or yet another sin demanding to be avenged? I could feel the tension seething around me. This death, this funeral, had pushed the community, already weary and frightened by the recent disappearances in the forest, to the edge. The press had swarmed to the funeral like flies. They were reporting on how illegal logging was a danger to both the ecosystem and human lives. The police were watching the crowd with disinterest as they leaned lazily against the trees. It had become political. Suddenly, Puszcza Białowieża had become politically charged and the hottest place to be in Poland. And it wasn't only local politicians and activists from both sides who got wind of the commotion. The Minister of Environment himself had driven to Białowieża to attend the funeral. He was standing next to the priests conducting the ceremony, surrounded by police and what looked like a handful of bodyguards. The coffin went down and the crowd stirred. Everyone started lining up to throw a handful of dust on the coffin or put flowers on the grave. I found myself face to face with Anya. I got swept by the crowd and found myself face to face with Anya. Everyone keeps pretending that he's just missing, but I know that Bartek is dead. She looked me in the eyes. He was such a cute guy, you know? I froze. It must be hard for you too. She patted my arm. If you ever want to talk, you know where to find me. I didn't know what to say. Anya shook her head. One more thing. I know you think you're helping, but have you ever asked anyone what they need? I looked over her shoulder at the crowd. It was clear that many people there felt that we were not helping. On the contrary. And the minister knew how to use that sentiment. I listened in disbelief. I watched in disbelief as the priest handed him the mic. After 30 seconds of listening to that pompous ass, I thought I would vomit. He repeated some platitudes, but it was clear he'd only come to show his face and tighten the leash on the local logging companies. The crowd listened silently. It was also our doing. I did kind of kill the guy responsible. I realized the conflict was only going to escalate, and in big part, it was our doing, but it was too late to back down. What he didn't know was that the local loggers weren't being paid anymore, and the locals were on our side. We were ready to defend ourselves. Yeah! It was high noon. Sorry. I play too much Overwatch. It was high noon. The sun was at its most merciless, and the world was almost white with heat. The air smelled of herbs, bark, and tree sap. Insects buzzed lazily in the high grass, stunned by the summer sun. The day was stifling as we set up the protests. The whole clearing was decorated with banners, and we all had our placards. The banner we'd hung on the National Park headquarters the week before was just a warm-up. Wood is the enemy of the forest was our main slogan, but there were many more. make the whole Puszcza a national forest park, demanded my sign. It was a viable solution, I thought. The whole Puszcza would be protected, and people could still earn money on tourists. There were so many of us. People kept coming to the camp, asking questions, looking for ways to help. Students, activists, even Greenpeace with their banners reading "Stop logging" and "Respect EU law." The Puszcza was watching us. Puszcza's just like, look, kill them all. I don't care. The Puszcza was watching us. Every time a gust of wind was bringing the wet smell of the forest to my nostrils, I felt her strong, steadfast presence. She knew that we were doing everything in our power to save her. I thought about my family. For centuries, my family served the Puszcza, burning villages and hunting down people who dared to hurt her. And now, I was the last Garu of my lineage. What legacy did I want to leave behind? The pressure was almost palpable, and tempers were flaring. Everyone knows what to do? Olga asked, looking at my pack. I'll keep the security guards occupied, nodded Lisa. And I'll guard the Puszcza's perimeter, growled Daniel. He glanced at the weasels. The weasels were in their positions among the protesters, as agreed. That left the cops to me. Not too late to negotiate. I'm gonna try. Olga, why are you cautious? I'm just trying something, okay? I think that we should keep talking, I said. It's never too late for a peaceful solution. Yeah, good luck with that. Olga nodded with a bitter expression. The cops were gathering. They're sympathetic, so I'm hoping I can get some good dialogue options here. You know, get further with cops than we can with real life. The police were nervous, huddling in groups and shouting at each other and everyone who was in their way. They clearly didn't want to be there. It was apparent that they were waiting for something. Then it reached the boiling point. When the minister arrived for a photo op. Ugh. We could use that. Yes, we can. I took it as a good sign. We could use his presence to our advantage in more ways than one. The press is sympathetic to me too. Oh, doing that in the beginning, maybe that'll help me now. I knew he was in for a nasty surprise. The reporters closed in on him, shooting uncomfortable questions about the legality of the logging and his forestry policy. In hindsight, you could argue that what happened next set a chain of events in motion that had life-changing consequences for many. Oh, no. But change didn't happen just like that. There's this notion that change is sudden. Movies and video games would have us believe that it takes one moment, one decision, one knock-on effect to turn the tide. But the world doesn't work like that. It works like a forest, like the Puszcza. Ah, this meta commentary is brilliant. We're playing a game of choices where the game tells us one choice isn't going to change the outcome of the game. It's the sum of all the choices we've been making this whole time. Change is like growth. Change is a slow, barely visible process. A series of decisions, yes, but also coincidences. Of chances being taken and people doing what they can to survive. Change is like growth. And we had growth. And we had grown. The members of my sept had already moved to their positions. I also had my part to play. I can't lose willpower right now. Things will go very, very, very wrong. With him at the scene, everything will get harder, I signed, pointing at the minister. Olga nodded. Wasn't ready to give up. Fuck. Olga raised her eyebrow. If you think there's any sense in talking to them, she smirked. Now's the fucking time. She grabbed me by the elbow and literally dragged me across the clearing to where the minister and his people were standing. I've got this, I said bluntly, yanking my arm free. I knew what to do. I am very nervous! I know what to do, I snapped at Olga. Stop treating me like a cub. You can't do anything, Olga replied. Just watch. Minister! Minister! She yelled. Do you have a moment to talk about what's really going on in the forest? I caught his gaze. He looked at us coldly, like we were vermin. His eyes were distinctly cold and lifeless, like a shark. I thought suddenly. No, he said, smiling. We don't talk to terrorists. I put my hand on Olga's shoulder and felt how tense she was. Her muscles vibrated, resisting the change. He's not worth it, I whispered. We'll find another way. I can't even select this. I don't have the option to lose more. This will be fun, Betty is with Pentex. Oh, he's absolutely Pentex. We went back to regroup. Fuck. The activists, humans, and werewolves alike listened as we told them what happened. The atmosphere was tense. Started our preparations. We prepared ourselves for the worst case scenario. Okay, let's move, I heard someone shout. Move it, people, move it. You know what to do. And they did. There was a lot of laughter and friendly pushing, chains clinking, and some people darting to the trees to seat themselves in the branches. Damn it! I have no willpower! I can't even choose like the... Oh, this is not gonna go well. This is not gonna go well. Not gonna go well. Not gonna go well. Okay. Woo. I helped form the human chain. Hey, I heard. Get those arms behind you. That's it. Attaboy. It hurts, moaned a man's voice. Next time do some yoga beforehand, huh? That's it, people. Open your heart so you can hold your wrists behind your backs. So I locked my wrists. I threaded my arms around the arms of the people to my left and right and then grabbed my wrists behind my back. It was tight on my shoulders, hot and very sweaty. Then we waited. We sat down, one long human chain, and watched the loggers and police as they approached, and then stopped. The sun shone and it was calm, almost serene. It worked. The talks started there and then. I could see that the minister was an apt politician and that he could smell a deal for himself in it all, but I didn't really care. We'd gotten what we wanted. We started to talk. Come on, come on. I am very nervous right now. When the talk started, we weren't alone. After we'd stopped the local lobbyists, we'd noticed locals coming to our camp to ask questions. At first, we were wary of them, but soon we realized they were genuinely interested in learning new ways they could coexist with their forest. So we started talking, and it became big. I didn't know what tipped the scales in the end. The press, the international attention, the local interests coming together, our passion. Finally, an agreement was within our reach, but the talks weren't easy. The state forest, the woodworkers, the local population, ecologists, scientists, activists, everyone wanted something. I was by no means an expert, but I wanted to play my part in the proceedings. I want to make sure the talks are fair. So I decided to observe the talks and make sure everything was okay. Both sides could use someone unbiased with an analytical approach. The talks went on and on. Everyone at the scene had their own opinion, their own point of view, and I had mine. In the middle of it all was, of course, the spruce bark beetle. How could something so small cause such a gigantic uproar? The beetle had always been a part of the forest ecosystem, pointed out one of the ecologists, but the recent droughts made the spruce more susceptible than ever, and foresters countered. We have to cut down the trees to stop a total disaster. I saw one problem with this approach. I can't even. How do I get my willpower back right now? I'm just, oh, Falca is just tired. I didn't trust a word that came out of the official's mouth. The beetle was not a reason for the logging. It was an excuse. You fetishize the forest, scoffed one of the officials. People cultivated it for hundreds of years, and it cannot survive without our help. He's right. You just want to take our forest from us, a group of locals attacked the activists. You're not from here. And you tell us how to live our lives. The problem was the human intervention unbalanced the ecosystem, and if they pushed it any further, they'd lose all that made Pusha unique. Opinions clashed, tempers flared, but eventually, new constructive ideas started to emerge. At least one of them caught my attention. Oh yeah, we wanted it to be a national park. That was something that we had said earlier. Alright. I'm like nervous squirming in my chair. There was a recurring idea to make all forests in the area as a part of Białowieża National Park. The logging would be impossible, but there would be much more money from tourism. It was a long and hot day. I rubbed my eyes. I was so tired I could barely keep them open. My head was spinning. You're ballet dancing on a tightrope? I am! And I'm very nervous right now. I can take... I don't know how many hearts that's gonna be. I'm gonna hide in the shade real quick. I hid in the shade of the trees and watched the proceedings. The talks continued. Of course they had to make it dramatic. There were cameras, there were lights, and the negotiations lasted all day long. We reached the final draft of an agreement literally at sunset. I had no doubts. They'd only decided to stop the logging because they realized there was something in it for them. I felt relief. But at the moment, I just looked at the sky and laughed. I felt overwhelming relief, and then my exhaustion caught up with me. I found a quiet spot and sank to the ground and fell asleep. And this is the epilogue. My god. And I don't like the title Quiet Before the Storm. Oh, nervous. Okay. I got this. Whew. Cheering of the crowd woke me up. It was a victory after all. Oh, thank God. We'd won. The push show was safe, at least for the time being. People were excited, antsy, full of emotions. If the loggers hadn't left, they probably would have charged them. I was glad we avoided open conflict. Oh, God. Whew. I just need a second. Oh, I was so full of anxiety. Okay. Oh, I'm at that, like, weird point where I drank so much coffee and then had so much anxiety at the exact same time that, like, I'm a little tired. I'm just kind of like, oh my god, please. We'd avoid a battle, which I consider my greatest victory. Still, we all needed to blow off steam, so we partied. Soon we were all dancing, talking, singing, and in some cases making out in the shadows. I had to stop someone from making a fire. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're in the middle of a forest during a drought. But my friends didn't join the festivities. They just sat on the logs looking at the humans with weary eyes. I joined them. I found my pack. We sat in the shadows, far from the humans. Look at them, murmured Olga. Loud, messy, stupid. Tomorrow this place will look worse than if we'd let them do the logging. I'm just gonna smile. Like, yeah. Okay, she's back from cautious. Look on the bright side. If the trees are still standing, I smiled, and we'll pick up the trash tomorrow. I'm not here to pick up their trash, growled Olga. There was a warmer glint in her eye as she looked at the trees we'd saved. Olga looked at them for some time. Well, maybe with time they'll turn this energy into something more useful. We'll have to wait and see. I smiled. Satisfied. Time would tell who was right. We gathered in the clearing in which I'd first woken up as a Garu. Lisa stood in the middle of the clearing, the wolf and the weasel by her side. Now, she said, looking at Cornell and Olga, you two, you need to solve this. Today. Olga nodded. There was determination in her eyes. I didn't always agree with you, Cornell, she said, but we could use your skills right now. That night was long and full of hope. Olga talked with Cornell and Kim and Pat for a very long time, trying to convince them to stay in Bioveja. They weren't fond of the idea. Oh, I've got the option for my wolf patron. Gone! Oh no, they're all gone. I watched them go. Olga approved of my decision. Lisa and our patrons made sure that we did right by Garu law and the Sept matters were resolved. But more had happened that summer. But it didn't cover everything that had happened that summer, though, so some consequences would have to unravel with time. Despite everything that had happened, Anya managed to get out alive. She tried to help the Pushcha and work in activism for a while, but it was hard in the divided community. She left in the fall to study just as she had planned. But it was all still ahead of me. For now, the first chapter of my new life was coming to an end. I'd come here to learn about my roots. I dug my hands deeper into my pockets. My family had fought the humans who'd invaded the forest for generations, and now there I was, making pacts of non-aggression with loggers. Was I a traitor, or was I the one who'd finally got it right? Your story is almost over. This might be a good time to take a last look at your character sheet. Okay. Okay. Fill the dogs left. I have so much honor, very little glory, and I am a dumb bitch. Alright. I'm healthy. Okay, I managed to stop the logging. Oh. I need to earn some glory and honor. Kim and Cornell and Pat are all gone. I liked them. Oh! Somehow I completely missed the character descriptions. Aw. Yeah, I'm a glasswalker. I'm very excited. That's my tribe. That will forever be my tribe. Alright. Okay. The clearing was empty and full of sunlight. The harvesters were gone, leaving the scars of their tracks behind. People were clearing up the campsite, making plans to turn the temporary protest site into a permanent tent town. I took a deep breath. Calling me out as gracious moon. Thank you. The air was sweet and smelled of coming rain. The upturned soil smelled of turf and the sweet aroma of decay. There would be a storm later that day. I could feel it. A faint, sharp layer of electricity surrounded the wetness. I smiled. I like my new sense of smell. This is not the end, said the ash gray wolf. I assume you know that. I sighed. Of course I knew. It was just a momentary break. A truce that both sides needed to regroup and reinforce. Yeah, I know. I sighed, looking around. I had something else on my mind. There was a squirrel somewhere. I could smell it. I wanted to chase it, to run, to feel the thrill of adrenaline rushing through my veins. But I couldn't spot it. It mocked me from the branches above, squeaking curses in its squirrel tongue. I couldn't see it. But I ran anyway. Yeah, lupus form! I doubled down in pain. My arms and legs cracked and twisted, my skull fractured and reset itself in a different shape. Fragments of bones crawling under my skin. My skin was ripping and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When the pain subsided, I was lupus, a wolf, seeing the world in smells and sounds. So I just ran for the thrill of it. The end. Oh! You have finished Heart of the Forest. Cubs gather around the fire and listen to the story of Maya Borodich, known among the Garu as Falca of the Glasswalkers, Philodox of the Morning Wolf Mother Pack. Her judgments were always honorable. Maya managed to negotiate a fragile peace and stop the harvesters, but would it hold? The first protests against the logging of Białowieża took place in 2016. The game was loosely inspired by those events. All characters and events depicted in this game are entirely fictitious. This was so wonderful! Oh my god, this was so beautiful! My god, what a rewarding experience. Oh! God, that was really loud. Sorry. I'm gonna turn down that audio just a little bit. God, that is so good. Oh my god. I just... Holy shit. This music. And we are going to go through this entire credits. We are going to give love to every person. Oh my god, this was such an immensely rewarding experience. It's so beautiful, so emotional. Oh my god. The branching of choices I'm awed by an emotional come down. This is a Belarusian band singing about a werewolf. Oh, oh, that's amazing! Oh, I love this song even more now. I love this. This is just so immensely rewarding. In so many ways. Hey, there's Peter! Yay! Like just... I did not expect this to get so deeply emotional for me, just because I am totally not a werewolf person. I am clearly a vampire. I always have been. But I also have always been a hippie. Like, when I was talking about the World Wildlife Federation with adopting wolves, and if I could donate and adopt wolves, I used to do that as a kid. We had a science store that I would go to with my allowance constantly, and I would give money to donate to these wolves, to adopt a wolf, and donate money to them. In my hometown, it's hard to hear me over the music. Let me fix my audio. Can you hear me a little bit better now? Okay, you can hear me better now. Hey, Yay! There's Altstar and Jason and Justin. But no, so like I used to take my allowance to the science store every week and donate to wolves because I was the wolf girl as a kid. So I'm a vampire, but I'm very much emotionally tied with wolves and nature. And this just really has the heart that this franchise is needed. Like yes. It's really fun to just be a big, bad, brutal werewolf and fuck shit up and everything. But there's a heart of emotion to werewolf that is very hard to capture in other environments. And this was just so immensely emotionally rewarding and so beautiful and so intense and anxiety inducing. I drank an entire coffee and it didn't mean shit for this game. I love this. Like the gamer part of me is like, I wanted to keep going, but the part of me that enjoys a really well-rounded story is like, that was exactly the ending it needed. That was a beautiful place to leave off. And I feel like in a way you could almost take this Maya that you created, and like if you're brand new to Werewolf, you could just pop this onto a sheet. Sort of. You would need adjustments, but pop it onto a sheet and this would be a great introduction to starting to play Werewolf the Apocalypse, because now you've essentially built a character with a backstory and you can do all of that. So this was so fantastic and amazing. Thank you so much, Different Tales, for letting me play this, and thank you for making such a beautiful, heartfelt game and really putting your soul into this, because it is seen and it is felt. And I feel so lucky that I got to play this, and feel so lucky that a game like this exists in my time, because that doesn't always happen. We don't always get like, you know, we don't always get like games that really truly move us very often in our lives, and this was truly moving. And so just thank you again. You guys have done amazing work here. I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We will be back next week. On Tuesday, we are doing Blood Bonding, our post ATL by Night interview show. This week we will have Thomasina, Mel, and Hex joining us. And then on Thursday, we will have our last vignette of the season. So make sure to join us, and just thank you immensely from the bottom of my heart. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good day.